The silence of the house that night was heavy, so heavy it felt like I could hear my own heartbeat echoing against the walls. My bare feet pressed into the cold tiles as I pushed my bedroom door open, not thinking about the thinness of the night or the recklessness of my decision. I wasn't covered, not in the way one should be when another pair of eyes could catch them. And that's exactly what happened. The moment I stepped out, I felt it, his stare. His presence wasn't supposed to be there, but it was. And when his eyes locked on me, something in the room shifted, like air being stolen away. My body froze, my mind raced, and his silence said more than any words could. Before we continue, if you're watching us for the very first time, Secret Woman Stories welcomes you with a warm hug. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Drop a comment with the city you're watching us from. We love connecting with women all around the world. Now, sit tight, because what you're about to hear is something you'll never forget. He didn't move at first, just stood there, rooted to the spot, watching me as though he had just stumbled into a scene he dreamed about but never thought real. I tried to act normal, brushing a strand of hair behind my ear, pretending I didn't notice the way his chest rose heavier than usual. But the silence between us was louder than anything else. "Why are you still awake?" I asked, my voice too calm for the chaos inside me. His lips parted, but words didn't come immediately. When they did, they were sharp and clipped. I couldn't sleep. Neither of us moved closer, but neither of us walked away either. The air was thick with something unsaid, something dangerous. I clutched my hand tighter against my side, pretending I wasn't trembling. I wanted to retreat, but something held me there. Maybe it was pride. Maybe it was the strange flicker in his eyes, the kind that makes you question what someone is thinking but dread knowing the answer. Minutes passed like hours. Then he shifted, and the sound of his movement shot through me like lightning. He stepped forward, not much, just enough to make me inhale sharply. "Go back to your room," he whispered, almost like he was warning me or warning himself. But the way he looked at me didn't match the words. It wasn't just concern. It was hunger, temptation, and restraint all wrestling inside him. My pulse quickened. I turned as if to leave, but my hand slipped from the doorframe, and I stumbled ever so slightly. His hand caught me before I fell, firm, warm, steady. For a moment, our breaths mingled, and I could see every detail in his face, his jaw tightening, his eyes refusing to blink, the battle raging inside him. I pulled away quickly, muttering something that didn't even make sense, and darted back into my room. But the moment the door shut, I leaned against it, my heart slamming against my ribs. What just happened? Did I imagine it? Or was something real about to unfold between us, something I wasn't prepared for? The night didn't end there. I heard him pacing outside, his footsteps restless, almost frantic. I pressed my ear to the wooden door, and every sound made me tremble. At one point, his hand brushed against the knob. He lingered there for a heartbeat before pulling away. That sound, that hesitation, told me more than words ever could. Sleep never came to me that night. The images replayed over and over. The stare, the silence, the catch, the almost crossing of a forbidden line. I tried convincing myself it was just nothing, that I was overthinking. But the way my body reacted betrayed me. My chest was tight, my breath shallow, and my thoughts a storm. Morning light came, but it didn't bring peace. He was already in the kitchen when I walked in, coffee cup in hand. He didn't look at me, not once. Not when I said good morning, not when I poured myself water. His silence was worse than his stare. It screamed louder, heavier. I wanted to ask if he was okay, if what happened was real, if I had just dreamed it. But something told me to stay quiet. And yet, even in silence, the tension was undeniable. He kept his distance, but his eyes betrayed him once. Just once. And in that glance, I knew everything had changed. Days passed, but it didn't fade. The stares grew heavier, the silence sharper, and the air between us more unbearable. And each time I walked into a room, I could feel his presence before I even saw him, as if he had already been waiting. Something was coming. I didn't know what, but I knew we couldn't keep walking this dangerous line forever. The question wasn't whether it would break, it was when and how hard. That morning after, I thought I could pretend it never happened. Pretend the silence, the stare, the almost touch were just shadows of a restless night. But life doesn't let you hide from the things that are already burning beneath the surface. It started subtly, lingering glances, brushing past each other too closely, small moments that lasted longer than they should. We didn't talk about it, but it was there, an unspoken language. And when temptation is fed in silence, it grows. One evening, the house was empty again. The quietness wrapped around us like before. I tried to walk past him in the hallway, but he stepped aside too slowly, forcing me to graze against him. My breath caught, his hand brushed against mine, and for a second too long, neither of us moved. "Stop," I whispered, though my voice lacked strength. "I'm trying," he replied, his words low, pained, and more truthful than anything else. That was the night we crossed a line. One moment of weakness, one reckless decision, and suddenly, everything we had tried to resist collapsed. It wasn't love, it was desire, raw and dangerous. But in the middle of it, there was also guilt, heavy and undeniable. The aftermath was worse than the act. I couldn't look at him without remembering. I couldn't sleep without guilt whispering in my ear. And yet, I couldn't stop either. The pull was too strong. But secrets don't stay secrets forever. One afternoon, a message lit up his phone while he was in the shower. I hadn't meant to look, but the screen was right there. Her name. His girlfriend. The one I hadn't known about, because he never spoke of her. The text was innocent enough. "Can't wait to see you tonight, love."
But it shattered me.
Love? Tonight? My stomach turned cold. I confronted him when he came out. The way his face drained of color confirmed everything. He had been betraying her with me. I thought I was the only one living in a lie, but she was too. I felt used, angry, stupid. And yet, when he tried to hold me, when he whispered apologies, part of me still wanted him. That was the most painful truth of all. The days that followed were chaos, arguments, guilt, stolen moments, confessions whispered in the dark. But eventually, the weight of betrayal became too much. He left, choosing her over me. And I was left with the bitter truth that I had been a part of destroying something, and in the process, I had destroyed myself. The moral? Temptation is never harmless. It starts with a look, a silence, an almost touch. But it can spiral into secrets, betrayal, and regret you can't undo. If you think you can dance on the edge without falling, you're only lying to yourself. This was my true story. My mistake. My lesson. Stay tuned until next time with Secret Woman Stories.